Good morning, it's Valerie Ling here. Hello everybody. I'm coming to you to speak about a topic that I really hope to start conversations of clarity about. I've got on my mind at this point in time small business owners, working on one focused group at a time. And this target group for me at the moment is to really look at the dynamics that are impacting small business owners and small business teams. So why do I care? Is it because I'm a small business owner? Is it because I've got problems in my team and so I'm using this as a bit of a soapbox to get it out of my system? No. Why I care is because small businesses make the backbone of our economy. There are probably more small businesses in Australia and globally than we actually realize. And the sad statistic is many do not thrive past or make it past, I think, 4 years. The vast majority of small businesses struggle, and with it come small business owners. And the level of rising burn and churn in small business owners is really too high for my comfort zone. We can't afford to have small business owners burn out because they form the backbone of services that our community need, that our children need, that our minorities need, that our underprivileged need. If small businesses go down, and their small business owners go down with them, so will a significant portion of our ability to provide quality services and do good work for people who need it. I've been very, very troubled about the dynamics that are in small business owner burnout. Of the many things that impact their mental health comes the isolation and the unclarity around who is a small business owner, what is their role, and what is the function of a business. So I want to speak very specifically today into that space. One of the reasons why I've created the Align by Design program, which is 5 clarity conversations to have with yourself and then 5 clarity conversations to have with your team, is really as part of an antidote to get clarity around those 3 questions. So it has really nothing to do with trying to manipulate conversations to get people to come on board to our businesses and make us more money. It's laughable. If you look at the statistics, at least in Australia, for the percentage of small businesses that actually earn above 200,000 annually, you will see that there are a lot of small businesses and small business owners that are barely bringing home a decent wage to take care of their own needs and their own families. Anyway, tangent, let me come back to my point. Businesses versus the entrepreneurial space. Let me start with the business. Every chair you sit on, every shoe you put on, every morsel of food you put into your mouth is the direct result of a business producing those goods. Every business that produces the consumed goods that we have come with it people that they have employed, intellectual property that has been developed, processes that need to be kept their eye on for quality so that not only do things continue to be produced, but people are safe. When I put my toast when I had toast this morning, I believed that all of those business processes I didn't even think about it, were being looked at, and I would not land up in hospital tomorrow. That trust, the consumer trust, is not just about brand and image. It's an implicit understanding of what we assume, how businesses run, that they are run well, with adherence to governance, with taking care of the employees that need to show up and need to stay fueled and resourced so that they don't make mistakes. So businesses as an entity has got to have credibility, integrity, systems, and an environment that one part of it protects the people that they are serving. The entrepreneurial space, that I suppose underlies the journey of a business, right? Because the entrepreneurial space is about making something out of nothing. Essentially, you make something out of nothing. Why? I could make tons of things out of nothing, okay? I could go out to my bin right now and I could probably make a bunch of stuff out of it, right? Just so I can get a cheap thrills? I don't think so. Or shall I right now go and invent something completely superfluous so that I can flog it to the next person down the road and use my superpowers to draw them in and manipulate them so that they give me money for something useless? No thanks. The entrepreneurial space makes something out of nothing because they usually see a problem that requires a solution. And the problem is constantly on their mind because they know that there is a solution that needs to be had. People need it. Who's going to do it? I'm going to do it. I'm going to invest in my time and space to actually think tank this. That's the entrepreneurial space. Now, I think misalignment comes in small business teams when we actually don't have an understanding that both the entrepreneurial space and the business space is mostly fueled by standards, that's the business space, and production needs, and entrepreneurial space, solutions that actually provide services that actually bring hope into community. And so small businesses do form not only the economic backbone of our economy, they also are part of the agile, innovative, right to your front door solutions that are required for some of the bigger issues that we have. So I want to just talk about then what is the confusion very often in business owners and their teams. And it's got to do really with not having, understandably, a degree of schooling and exposure in business and leadership knowledge bases, right? For example, the one thing that I want to talk about right now is the understanding of leadership style in a business. Very often, we feel bad as business owners because we think we are actually having some kind of a transactional leadership style. That is, I hire you or hire your services and I use you so that you can complete the service and then I leave you high and dry. And that's very often the sort of transactional framework that we have. To make that really, really simple, it's the old ATM, actually these days you don't even have to go to the ATM, but it's the old ATM frameworks of who we are as a leader and what our people think we're doing, which is we press buttons so that we can get money, and then hasta la vista, we don't know, we don't care how the ATM is being maintained or cleaned and things like that. So there's a thinking that is actually quite transactional. I would argue that we really need to do a lot of thinking as small business owners if that is what we're doing or if that is what we are conveying. Most of the time, if your business has thrived beyond that 4 or 5 year mark, you're probably not very transactional in your leadership style because your customers would have had enough of it, clients would have had enough of it, your strategic business partners would probably have enough of it, right? It just doesn't jive. I would argue that most of us want and probably are using, when I call it, well, I haven't called it in the leadership literature, a transformational style. A transformational style means that you've created something out of nothing. You've done the thinking in terms of, I'm going this way because this is the business side, the governance, the processes, and the systems. You've done some thinking about that. You've serviced things well, and now you're looking at the entrepreneurial space. How can you actually replicate this? How can we bring more of this to others? How can we actually make more things out of it? And by virtue of thinking that way, we're actually already in a transformational space, meaning that we want to transform the way things are done. We want to transform the way that services are delivered. We want to transform the problems into solutions. And so we adopt a transformational style if our team understands that and knows how to engage with you in that style. A transformational style is one part collaborative, one part participative, one part innovating through synergy of a team. Now, when we understand that we have a transformational style or preference, we need to then start to be able to have conversations to align that misunderstanding or the lack of clarity that comes around in businesses that makes it look like we're being transactional. In other words, I pay you, you go and do that. You didn't do that, I don't pay you. That's very transactional. We want to augment the elements of your business that are actually transformational. And sometimes we don't augment that because we don't even know that they're there. If you did an audit right now of your business, of what are the elements in your business that are transformational, not just for your clients, but for your team, for you, how you're growing, how they're growing, can you identify them? Can you communicate them? Can you make that top of the agenda so that your team can see that they're actually part of a business that is evolving, transforming, growing, and they are part of that journey. That moves us away from transactional thinking and from seeing businesses as being a chew you and spit you out paradigm to be nervous about or to be dogmatic about. I think that's enough for me today. Align by Design starts November 7. We need to have a conversation revolution. I'm all about that. I hope you are too.